Right, dude. Everyone gets free MacBook. You get a MacBook. You get a MacBook. You get a MacBook.
Yep.
See, we got the room set up right here. All right, perfect. Let me get this.
Ooh.
We got all the settings set up right here. Let me just give it 1 second to. Let's just link up real quick to the group so that everyone can join in on this.
Yep.
Let's see. Participants invite. All right, Josh, people are coming in whenever you're ready.
Cool.
Exactly.
All right, everyone's making their way in. What's up, CT? Let me just make sure everyone's muted, and I'll just make sure that whoever's here will be good. All right, so Josh is host. All right, Josh made you host right there. Hey Josh, so make your your other one a co-host so that you can hear your voice on there. Do you know how to do that, Josh? Let me just do this real quick. All right, I'll just make you the co-host. There you go. And then there's your other account right there.
Perfect. Cool.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So Josh is going to be hosting the session. I'll be here moderating and answering your questions if Josh needs any help. But this show is going to be for Josh, so I'll let Josh take control here. So there you go, Josh. Whenever you're ready, you can put your screen up.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome, everyone. Glad you guys are coming out. I'm not sure what time it is for everyone, but appreciate you guys squeezing in a little bit of time before work or right before bedtime, man. I understand that it's been a long day for everyone, right? So there's just some people kind of filtering in. I'm just admitting everyone really fast. Okay, I think we're good for right now. So we'll just give it like maybe another minute or two.
Yeah, it looks like people are still making their way in. So I'll keep admitting people while you guys are getting everything set up, and then we should be good to go. Let's see. What's up, Trell? What's up, Alan? ACT, everybody. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah, Jetta said he could hear better on here as well. So I think we're good. All right.
Sweet. Cool. All right, man. So, the intention for today is really, there was this idea of getting this mentorship group within the premium. And I know some of the, let's say, newer traders, they wanted some guidance and whatnot. And I know for one, I feel real honored to be a part of that. I feel like I'm a lot like a new trader. I'm trying to be better every day, just like the rest of you guys, just like everyone in here. So, this being given a platform just to kind of talk about one certain strategy, right, is definitely an honor. So thank you in advance to everyone. So not to waste anyone's time, but today, we're really going to talk about our K² 3-minute pivot strategy that we use. And we use it really on the US 30 chart. All right. So for everyone in here, there's this assumption that you do have all of your K² indicators, right? So if you don't have those or whatnot, highly recommend that you, you connect with Shawn, see how you can get those indicators, or if you have the package, the paid package already, you can reach out to any one of us to see how you can set that stuff up. Pretty simple. But I'm going to show you guys kind of like how I trade, right? So just to kind of get this out in the open, I am nowhere near an expert trader. Just want to get that out in the open, right? I'm not making hundreds upon thousands of dollars a day. I'm not catching pips upon pips upon pips. At the end of the day, I'm just a student of this game, right? I want to get better. I want to fine tune my skills and whatnot. I just happen to come across something using these K² indicators, using these K² strategies that honestly, it just started working for me. And, bringing it up to Shawn and some of the other people in the group, it just seems like it works for a lot of different people. So for today, again, hey, I'm going to talk about what I'm looking for during certain sessions and whatnot. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started, right? So I get a lot of questions, right? Hey, Josh, tell me more about your 3-minute strategy. When's the best times to trade it? What are the best days? What do you do this here? When do you do that? What does this mean? I get a bunch of different questions, right? So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. So basically, 3-minute strategy. We're going to go to a 3-minute time frame, right? 3 minutes right up here. Okay. Then from there, what we want to do is we want to make sure that your indicators are up and running, right? So you've got your momentum indicator and your pivots indicator. So for what I like to do, right, I'm going to go ahead and encourage everyone, if you go to your pivots, for this particular strategy, which is subject to change, by the way, because we're always trying to fine tune stuff, right? I'm recommending that everyone go ahead and just take off K² level 1, K² level 2, right? Because you're really not going to need it for what we do or what we're looking for, okay? So here's kind of like our screen. We've got the momentum indicators, red and green. We've got our pivots, red and orange, right? So normally for me, I found through my back testing that this strategy really works well during the New York session. Okay, I just want to get that in the open. I get questions, well, does it work during Asia? Does it work during London? Truth be told, it probably does, but it probably doesn't hit as much, or it probably doesn't use the same type of TP or stop loss as for New York. And part of the reason why I may not know those answers is because I've done all of my back testing during the New York session. So if you ask me during New York, I may have the best answer for you. But I highly encourage everyone else who wants to really further the 3-minute, or put another flavor to it, or you see something that I don't see and you want to check it out in different sessions, I'm one message away and we can do this thing together, right? K2 style. But let's go ahead and let's look at today, right? So normally when Shawn goes live, we're going around 6:30, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and just mark 6 o'clock because for me, that's just kind of when I wake up, I start looking at the charts, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and replay this bad boy from 6 o'clock, okay? So here's 6 o'clock candle. All right, so a couple things that I'm looking for, right? I'm definitely looking at my pivots. I'm looking at the price. I'm looking at the next momentum signal that's coming, okay? So as we go through, and I'll type here on the screen as we get there, okay? So as we're going through, I'm coming through, and then right here at 6:06, right? 6:06, someone might message me, hey, Josh, I see a sell signal. Are we going to take the sell or are you taking the sell? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? Now, for me personally, right, I see this, even though it's not 6:30, but I'm just looking at this right now. For me personally, what I'm looking for is that I'm looking, if I want to get into a sell, I want to make sure that my candle and my sell, my candle is definitely underneath both of these pivots, level 3 and level 4, right? So for the sell signal, for me, it's not valid because it's above both pivots. Even though it may hit TP or it may actually go down to 25 pips or whatever. Just for me and my purposes, I don't enter the trade because it doesn't fit what I do. It doesn't fit my parameters. So just for the sake of practicing, I'm going to go ahead and mark it up because you never know, right? So, but let's go ahead. So I know that this is not a valid signal for me. So what am I looking for first, right? Number one, I'm looking for the K2 indicator, right? That's what I'm looking for. Number two, I'm looking for the candle to pass and close under / above both K2 pivots 3 and 4, right? Pretty simple, really, really, really simple, okay? And as we go through, okay, I'm going through and here's our next signal. It's a buy, right? Okay. Now, someone may ask, all right, Josh, now I got a buy signal. Do I enter? Well, it closed, right? It closed above the pivots. And you're absolutely right. Candle to pass, close under or above both K2 pivots and level 3 and level 4. So you're absolutely right. It sure does. But for me, there's other things that you gotta be looking for. And one thing that I look for is that I don't like when candles literally open on a pivot, right? That's just me. I don't like it. That thing is literally just sitting on there. And if I were to measure it out, that thing is literally 1 pip above level 4. So for me, I could take it. I just find that really risky. Okay. I find it really risky. I'm not the biggest fan of it. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. But for the purposes of just, testing this out and marking up our charts and whatnot, hey, let's go ahead and let's mark it anyway, right? Or sorry, whoops. Yeah. Boom. Okay. So we still got this position running. We got this position running. Okay. So I'm going through now, as you can see right here, right? This is part of the reason why, again, personally, I don't like it on the pivot, okay? One may say, well, this is the 6:30 candle. It's opening up. There's a lot of movement, and you absolutely may be right. One thing that I've learned about US 30 is that I'm not in charge of the direction that it goes, right? I can't necessarily tell the market what to do. It's going to move on its own, all that other stuff. But if I'm talking about entering on this buy position, to me, again, not a big fan of it opening up on the pivot, right? So let's say, okay, well, Josh, well, what about this candle right here? Let's say this this cell right here. Okay. Does it fulfill kind of what we are looking for? And in all honesty, yeah, it does, man. We've got the momentum indicator right here, right? There's our sell signal. Does the candle pass and close underneath both K2 pivots 3 and 4? Yeah, it does. We can clearly see that it breaks through and closes underneath both of those pivots. So according to the rules, all right, let's go ahead and let's enter this entry, right? 25 pips, 50 pip stop loss. Now, I know some of you guys are wondering, well, you know, where did you come up with the 25-50 rule? Like that's not a good ratio. Like that's not 1-to-1. It's actually like a negative. You're absolutely right. I agree with you guys 100%. These numbers, 25-50, it's really meant for like kind of like a base, right? Your default numbers. I highly recommend a lot of you guys, if 25-50 is not within your comfort zone and you want to go 25-25, go ahead and go 25-25. I've noticed often that even 20 pips is great too for the TP stop loss. Because remember, I hear some people saying like, well, what are the parameters? Can you post it on a signal? We can't post this on a signal. It's a scalp. It's a scalp. It moves so fast, right? That often it's either hit TP or if it's hit stop loss within a mere matter of minutes, right? So, but for practicing sake, right? For everyone in here who wants to kind of better understand like the initial blueprint of the 3-minute pivot strategy, the blueprint is 25-50. Okay. Once you guys start getting a little bit more comfortable on your own, ratios and whatnot, hey, go for it. It's all good. We encourage that, right? So here we go, 25-50, right? So here's my entry. I did it on the opening candle, boom, right there. So as you guys can tell, right off the back, within this first 3 minutes after, hit a full TP at 25, right? And just for the sake of, numbers, if I were to have a 25 pit stop loss, as we can see, they knew that K2 was going to put 25 stop loss. They knew it. They knew you were going to do that. They knew I was going to do that. So the big bank said, you know what? We're going to stop these guys out right at 25, right? So part of where we get this notion of 50 is that, it just gives us some additional wiggle room. If, again, I know this is being a broken record, but if you're not comfortable with the 50, maybe you go 35. Hey, it's all good, right? Blueprint, default, we'll go 50. This obviously take profit within the first few seconds, or not seconds, sorry, first few minutes. And this is a great trade for us right in the morning, right? We got the W, we got the win, everyone's making money, everyone's happy. This is awesome. So we got the first win of today. Now, if you were on the live session today, you're going to notice that later on we took some L's, which happens, okay? It happens and it's all right. I can vividly recall, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, Shawn had called throughout the week, Shawn had called 11 indice trades, 11 US 30 trades. And I vividly remember 9 out of those 11 were the 3-minute strategy. And there were no losses that week, FYI, right? There were no losses that week. 9 out of those 11 were the 3-minute strategy. So I guess the disclaimer is, there will be times where we're going to lose, but for today's purposes, hey, this is what I look for. The guy who suggested the 3-minute, this is exactly what I'm looking for, right? So you probably could have went for 50 pips, right? Because maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe I want to go for 50. Maybe I don't want to go 25. Maybe 25 is too short for me. I want to go 50. Well, there's your TP right there, right? So you could have went so far, 69 pips. But because this is really quick scalp, 25 seems to be the number. 25 seems to be, where we're getting majority of our TPs at, right? So we're going to go ahead and move right along, right? So we're moving right along. Here we go. We're just waiting for the next, sell or seller buy signal. Now, here we go. We got a buy signal, right? All right, Josh, what do we do? I see that the buy signal came up, but I'm confused because the buy signal is underneath the pivots. So do I take the trade? So my recommendation, if you're asking me, is I'm going to suggest that you know what you're doing. For me, I'm not going to take this trade because it does not close above the pivots. Even if it eventually hits TP, which is great. Yeah, I mean, that's great if you want to take the risk. But for me, I'm a lot like Shawn. I want to enter the trades that I know or that I at least feel like it's gonna go in my direction, that it's gonna benefit me. So in all honesty, if I were to enter this, right, it might hit TP. It could, but I'm not willing to go against the data that I've back tested personally. So if we move along, okay, let's see what's going to happen here. There's your stop loss, right? There's your stop loss. I hope everyone sees that, right? So I've had a few people ask before, well, why don't you just take every single 3-minute signal? Well, you can. That is totally up to your discretion as a trader. But here in K2, we're all about eliminating the bad entries. That's what we want to do. And I am not 100% accurate on these, signals or these entries. There are times where I take losses, man, and it happens. But for this particular case, for this buy, it did not close, right? It didn't close above the pivots. So we don't take that. We skip it. And it's okay to skip trades, guys, even if it ends up becoming a winner, right? That's all right. What we want to do is let's meet and let's talk about why it was a winner. Maybe, right? Because I love having these discussions. I have these discussions with Shawn and Kyle all the time. Maybe we incorporate some of the other pivots and we try to make better sense of, well, if it crosses pivot level 2 and it's a buy, maybe we take it for 10 pips or something like that. I don't know, right? But if this really interests you guys, hey, I'm all ears. Let's talk about making this 3-minute strategy even better, right? But for the basics of the basics, here we go. So we've got the sell signal, okay? Sell signal's right here. Now, do we have the K2 momentum signal? Yes, we do. We have it right here, okay? Does the candle pass and close? I should say pass or close, right? Sorry. And or, make sure I got my vocabulary right? Pass and or close underneath the pivots. So on this one, you'll see right here, you see these two cells? These are different cells. Part of it is because this first one did pass through the pivots and it closed under the pivots, right? This one, even though it did not pass through the pivots, it didn't pass through, it still closed underneath the pivots. So for me, this is a valid sell. This is a valid signal. This is, the market is telling me, hey, Josh, I at least have 25 more pips of movement before I either retrace or whatever. So we're going to see kind of what happens with this, right? Boom, there you go, 25 pips. Now, if for some of you guys, again, broken record, well, I don't like that 50. I don't like your ratio, Josh. I don't like it. I'd rather go 25, 25. Hey, go 25, 25. It's all good. Well, maybe you wanted to go 40, 40, right? Maybe you want something a little bit more, some more pips. There's your 40 pips right there, right? TP, 40 pips. Blueprint standard. Anytime we call a signal, it will always be 25.50. It will be up to you as the trader to exit before or hold longer, right? That is totally up to you guys as the trader. And if you guys are figuring out that we can actually push it to 30 pips, let's back test it together. If you guys find out that 20 pips is a little bit more within the range, let's back test it together. Let's do it, because the 3 minute is where the money's at. It's working very well for us. 3 minute K2 momentum signal, K2 pivots. So as of right now, we've got we just made 50 pips for the day. Now, whatever it is that you're using for your lot size, again, that's your discretion as a trader. You just times that by whatever, by 50 pips, you're in the money. For some of us, you might be done for the day. And that's great if you are, right? That's great if you are. Take your profits, don't get greedy. But for the sake of time, let's go ahead and move forward, right? At this time, we've already gotten 50 pips by 7:06 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. That's awesome. For some of us, we're done for the day, man. That's awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and keep moving, right? Okay. Buy signal right here. Now, some might look at it like, all right, Josh, I'm confused, right? What do I do? I'm still trying to learn the strategy. I'm still trying to figure out what to do. It's all good, my friend. So we got the buy signal. We've got the green candle. But for some reason, price did not close up here. It did not close above the orange and red pivots. It just didn't, right? So do we take this? I'm going to suggest no, you don't take the buy. Now, for charting purposes, let's go ahead and just mark it up, right? Because it could turn out to be a TP, right? It could. There you go, 25 pip TP. But for the purposes, you know what? Because for me, I felt like that was just a risky entry. I want to protect my capital. That's what I want to do. I want to stay in the game for as long as I can, because if I'm going by the 25.50 and this hit stop loss, that erases the 20 pips that I just got. So for me, this would have been risky for me. But if you were courageous or you were brave, then that's awesome. But K2, we're gonna recommend that you don't enter the buy when it's underneath the pivots. And now I'm just curious. I'm just real curious to see, because I have been looking at something. If price does break above and close one of these pivots, if maybe we could ride it in the opposite direction. So if any of you 38 people that are in the group watching this right now, or if you're on YouTube Live, reach out to me and let's do some back testing on levels 1 and level 2. Let's get some level 1 and level 2 back testing. So that way, maybe we can get these nice entries, right? For a additional pips. But for the standard default K2 3-minute strategy for US 30, we're not taking this buy, even though it hit TP, right? Okay. So we're moving through, right? As you can tell, price is kind of going back and forth. We almost had a sell signal, but here at K2, we're all about practicing patience. We don't rush the trades, right? We don't rush it. We wait for candles to close. We don't want to prematurely make a decision. Kyle and I were almost in a buy earlier because the direction went into the buy, and then the last 5 seconds, it went into a total sell. And we were both talking to each other like, hey, we're so glad we didn't get that buy because it would have immediately hit stop loss. So wait for candles to close, right? All right. So here's another thing, 7:45. Here's one thing that I'm also looking at too, is that I'm looking at my pivots. I'm looking at the way the chart is moving, right? So I kind of see maybe, right? And again, I'm no expert trader. I'm not an expert trader. But I kind of see, it's starting to not flatten, but it looks kind of like a downtrend, maybe, right? So I have a downtrend bias. That's just my bias, right? I feel like it's going to continue to move down. But let's see, right? Let's see where we're going. K2 momentum signal. Boom, checked off. Does the candle pass and or close underneath both pivots, 3 and 4? Yes, it does, right? So we're going to go ahead and place our entry, 25, 50. So here's our entry. This is what we're looking like, okay? And FYI, people, this was today. And as I stated earlier, we did take some L's today. We sure did, okay? We sure did. So this is where we're at. Let's see where we go from here. Next candle, okay? So we at least could have had 16 pips, right? Okay. But let's see where it goes, right? Maybe it comes back down. Looks like it's going back up. There's our stop loss, 50 pips. Okay, you know what? It happens. It happens. I was almost not in an argument with someone else, but kind of going back and forth about, the way I trade and whatnot. And one thing that I just want to remind people is that we will take losses. We don't take losses often, but we will have those. We definitely will. And part of the mentee group, this mentorship group, is to really support all of us on don't give up. You're gonna lose some trades. Don't give up, because in all honesty, if this is the only vocabulary that you have, you got to practice some more things as well. You got to practice the 10-minute snipe strategy. You got to maybe look at Euro USD. You got to practice the structures and the zones. As much as I would love to be a signal provider on the 3 minutes solely, if you as the new traders are only trading the 3 minute and you're taking a few losses and you're taking a few wins and you're getting frustrated, I'm gonna suggest that you continue to increase your vocabulary, right? It's okay to have 2 or 3 quote unquote strategies that you're really good at, right? For me, for an example, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty decent at the 3 minute. I have more profit than I do loss. So I know what to look for, right? But I also practice the 10-minute snipe. I also practice the K2 support and resistance, right? I use those as often as I can because I'm trying to be the best trader. If the 3 minute isn't working for me, I got to turn the page. I got to go to something else, right? So for today, this is what we're talking about. It's a 3 minute, right? So we're moving on, right? It's all good. We took a loss. Hey, no worries at all. We're moving through, right? Okay. So it looks like we're about to have a buy signal coming up pretty soon. Boom, right here. Now, a couple things we got to ask ourselves, right? Because when we're doing this live, the great thing about live is that you have 3 minutes to kind of get a feel of what price is doing or what the market is doing or whatever it is that you want to call it. You got 3 minutes to kind of figure out what your next move as a trader is going to be. So for me, right, part of it was, okay, do I have a momentum indicator? Yes, I do. It's this green buy signal, right? The green momentum indicator. Cool. Number 2, does the candle pass or close underneath or above both pivots? Well, looking at the candle, it passes through level 3 and it falls short of level 4. So if we're going based off default, right? Default, you're brand new. This is super new to you. You don't know what to do. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's not a valid entry for the people who are just now learning it. Now, if you're like, you know what, like I feel real confident in this one. I've noticed that price has been pushing up. I think I can push this for 25 pips. That'd be my guess, right? But for default purposes, we're not going to enter. But I will tell you this, for practice purposes, hey, let's go ahead and let's chart this bad boy up, right? Let's go ahead and let's do that. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm teaching you guys, every option, every signal that comes our way. And some of us are going to take some and some of us aren't. That's just the name of the game. Okay. Let's say if you were to take this, let's see how it plays out, right? We take it. Seems like hits stop loss. Boom, right there, right? Now, again, for the default people, and I hope everyone is kind of looking at this, right? For the brand new people who are trying to learn the strategy, trying to view the strategy through my eyes, through Josh's eyes. I'm not comfortable with that candle not breaking through pivot 4. I'm not comfortable with it. So therefore, I don't enter the buy. It might look good for others, but for me, if you want to trade like me, or maybe not trade like me, but if you want to see what I'm saying, see what I'm seeing is probably a better term. If you want to see what I see, I'm not entering this thing because, again, it did not close above the red pivot. I just don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. And even if it hit TP, I'd rather have a protective capital versus a stop loss, right? That's just me. So we're going through, right? Going through, price is kind of lingering, blah, 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 blah. All right, here we go. Now we got this sell signal, right? And which, by the way, I forgot to say, I would recommend that you have one position running at a time. Don't have multiple positions running, especially if you're brand new. You could definitely get lost. Things cannot go your way. Things can go your way, but I would really encourage everyone to make sure that you're trying your best to master your eyes on what you're looking at versus just taking every signal and now you're in 2 or 3 positions and you don't see your profits going up and down and then you're losing track of what your TP is and all that other stuff, right? So that's my suggestion. But again, it is trader discretion, right? Trader discretion. So let's take this short, right? We got the K2 momentum signal. Does it pass through or close underneath both K2 pivots 3 and 4? Yeah, it does, man. As you can tell, even though it doesn't start up here and pass through 4, it definitely closes under both. That's what we want. It closes both under both pivots, right? So I'm going to go ahead and enter this trade, right? 25 pips, 50 pips stop loss. That is default. Again, default. Your discretion, however you want to go. So let's go ahead and move forward, right? There's my TP. Boom. So by 8:42 in the morning, technically 25 minus 50, so I'm at 0. Technically, I'm up 25 pips just for the day. Now, for some people, 25 pips, that's all they need because it's like, well, if I do a standard one lot on FTMO, that's $250. I'm good. I would really encourage everyone. Like, I know a lot of people are making thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. Don't be influenced on some people's really big lot sizes. Because one thing that you got to remember is that those individuals, they actually have the lot sizes to practice that appropriately, right? That's number one. Number two, they also might be gambling, but they believe in their strategy so much that they're like, nope, I'm going on a 10 lot size. I'm going on a 5 lot size or whatever it may be. So for everyone here who's looking for that mentorship or whatever, hey, slow and steady definitely wins the race. Like, get the pips. Like, don't right now, don't worry about like, well, I want to make like $5,000 a day. If that's your goal, great. But you still got to have a strategy. You still got to train your eye to see in order to get the appropriate amount of pips to get to the 5,000, right? Because 5,000 may be the goal a day, but how many pips are you going to get there? Or how many pips is it going to take to get there? Is it going to take 25? Is it going to take 100? I don't know, right? But let's really, for all of us, let's really focus on, don't worry about, Shawn doing like $20,000 a day. Don't worry about that. Look at the strategy, look at the pips. Because once you master that, once you get more confident, once you get more comfortable, then you can slowly, gradually up your lots, up your trading. And I promise you guys, I promise you, I haven't been trading myself much longer than you, but I can promise you that you will be successful. That I can guarantee. Okay. So right here, we got the W, man. Awesome. So we're up 25 pips for the day. Woohoo. Okay. We're good. We're good right now. What I want to do is I want to go back to this cell right here, if you guys don't mind. Okay. I want to go back to this cell because something that we should also really take into consideration is, well, how big was the move? If I take this candle from the top all the way down to the bottom, this was almost a 50 pip move. This is literally almost the length of your stop loss. So maybe, right? Maybe we put requirements on ourselves and we say, well, if this is such a big move like that, maybe we don't enter this trade. Maybe we don't enter the trade because from the top down way up here, this was literally within the last 9 minutes of that candle. This was a 90 pip move. So remember, on a 3-minute, maybe the market has already exhausted its 25 pip move, which in all honesty, it looks like it did here. From here to here, right? It looks like it exhausted that 25 pips. It didn't have any more room. So that's why it went immediately back up to this length of the candle. Again, that's just something that I think about, that I'm taking into consideration, right? I think about those things. And I would highly encourage for some of you guys to think about those things too. It's okay to think about those things so that way we can eliminate the bad trades, even though they look good, right? So we got our TP right there. And this is awesome. But for the sake of time, because it is 8:42, let's continue to move on, right? We're moving, we're grooving. All right, here we go. Perfect. This is what I like, right? So on this buy, where was it at? Okay, maybe I'm, all right, maybe I'm mistaken. That's okay. Here we go. We got the buy signal, right? Got the buy signal. And all right, Josh, help me out, Josh. What's going on here? It barely, like, not really close underneath or above. Sorry, it didn't really close above level 4, but it's so close, Josh. Can we take the trade? Should we take the trade? And I'm going to go based off of the default, what K² is always going to recommend. When you see this, because it did not close above the pivot, right? It did not close above the pivot. We don't enter. Regardless if it goes 25 pips and you actually get the TP, right? Maybe it does. I have no idea. But because it did not close over that pivot or over both pivots per se, we don't enter. I am not a fan, guys, especially if it what I call when it sits on a pivot. You see how it closes, it's sitting on that pivot. Like, look, I can zoom in, right? I'm zooming in from where price closed to the pivot. That's 1 pip. 1 pip. That's not even a spread. Spread's usually 2 or 3 pips. So for me, this is risky for me. So I would encourage everyone, hey, you know what? Maybe you hold off on this one. I'd rather you save your capital rather than lose it, right? But let's see what it does. Maybe someone's like, hey, man, I'm feeling brave right now. I'm feeling real brave. Let's do this, Josh. All right, cool. Let's do it. Let's see what happens, right? Going through. I don't know yet. Okay, looks like it's alive, right? Looks like it's alive. And there goes your stop loss. Boom. And I hope everyone sees that, right? There goes your stop loss right there. Now, depending on, where your entry was at, I don't know, maybe you caught on the higher end. it was 1 point away, 1 pip away from hitting stop loss. Even from the beginning. Like, you would have had a 7-point pip TP if you wanted 7 pips, right? If you wanted that. But again, the recommendation is the 50. But what we're recommending is, hey, it didn't close above that red pivot. It didn't close above both pivots. That's not a valid entry for us, right? It's not a valid entry for us. So that's why we don't take that one, right? Okay, so we're gonna go backwards. And I'm doing this in real time, guys, because I'm not gonna only show you guys only the winning, you know, entries and all that other stuff. If you guys know me, if you guys talk to me and Shawn, hey man, we're transparent. I'm super transparent. And as I stated before, this strategy is definitely not 100% accurate, right? But it's pretty accurate. The trick is, how do we train our eyes to know what's a good signal, what's a good entry, and what's not a good entry? Well, this is not a good entry. That's what we know. So we're going to move past it. We're going to move right along, right? All right, here we go. All right, Josh, got a sell signal, right? Got a sell signal. Let me zoom out a little bit. Since 6 o'clock, as you guys can tell, it looks like it's downtrending, but it kind of seems a little flat too. But for the sake of the new trader, because I would probably do what the new trader would do. Josh, I see an indicator. Josh, it closes underneath both pivots. Josh, do I enter? Yeah, man, let's go ahead and let's enter it. Because you know what? I gotta be okay with taking some losses. And that's why it's so important for everyone to practice proper risk management. Proper risk management. The number one reason why people lose their accounts, lose their money, fail their FTMOs 57,000 million times is because they're trying to go big and go home at the same time. If that makes sense, right? They're trying to go big and go home. Well, you're definitely going to go big and you're definitely going to go home when you do that. So let's practice risk management. Again, this is a mentorship group. That's what we want to practice as well. It's not just the charting, it's the trading psychology as well. So let's see where we go from here, right? Okay, let's see where we go. Going through. Oh shoot, what happened, right? That's pretty high up there on the opposite signal. It's going the opposite way. Damn. Straight up hit my stop loss, man. Straight up. Josh, what happened? I took an L. What happened, man? Your strategy is supposed to be foolproof. It's supposed to win all the time. Well, you know, on this particular case, it didn't hit. You know, it just didn't hit. And it kind of looks like the market through right here is a little flat. If I take from this position here, looks like it's a little flat. I mean, yeah, there was some movement in the beginning, but it kind of looks like it was a flat day today. I don't know, man. I don't know about you guys, but this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the way the market is really moving. Because if I look at these past candles, this last, hour, within this last hour, it seems like the market was pretty flat. So maybe a more experienced trader, like some of us in the room, they're going to say, hey, Josh, 100 signals can come up, but because it's so flat, I'm not going to enter any trades. Trader discretion, right? Trader discretion. But for this sake, hey, unfortunately, we took the L, man, and it's all good. It's all good. We took the L. No worries at all. Okay. All right. Here we go. Right now it's like 9:15. All right, Josh, took the L in that last one, but now we got the sell signal. Or sorry, we got this buy signal. I got to get in. I want a revenge trade. Well, don't enter this long because you're trying to revenge trade. You're entering because it fits your parameters. It fits the K² parameters for the 3-minute pivot strategy, right? So here's our momentum indicator. Candle passes above, pivots 3 and 4. So because this position already closed before, I'm not in any positions right now. Hey, you know what? I might take this position. Let's go ahead and let's do it, right? Let's go ahead and let's do it. 25.50. Let's see where it goes, right? It's going through. Next candle, another TP. Or sorry, another stop loss. Dang, man. That's 2 stop losses in a row. And I just got, I'm out 100 pips. So now I'm in the negative, right? On this 3-minute. That's all right. Okay. That's okay. As you guys know, if you were trading today, as Shawn stated throughout the beginning, during the session, the market was acting weird, man. The market was acting the way exactly how it wanted to act, right? So even though, let's say you close this position, some of you guys, we're not always taking all the same entries at the same time, right? Some of us might not be looking at our chart, so we don't enter here, but they might enter right here at this chart, right? They might see this signal, and that's the thing too. Not everyone is always looking at the same chart all the time. So even if I got into this sell signal, here we go, right? Here's this sell signal. Closes underneath all pivots, red momentum signal. I'm going to go ahead and enter it, right? This candle, wow, that candle just looks super weird. Oh yeah, okay. That's just the way it looks. But eventually you hit your TP, 25, boom, right? Well, let's go on to the next. Okay. Now this was just today. I don't know how it was today. Again, as a review, the purpose of today is looking for the entries, right? So I'm showing everyone how we're looking for these entries. And wow, we could have rid this for 50. Looks like 60, right? You could have written it for a lot longer than 25. And I highly encourage someone, man, help us develop something where we can write it a little bit longer. That's all good, man. We're all one big family here. We enjoy talking strategy. We enjoy talking candles. I love it, right? So now we're getting to 10 o'clock. Now, for me personally, right, when 10 o'clock comes, I'm one to not really like to trade in between 10 o'clock and 11:30 or 12, right? For me, because out in the East Coast, everyone's at lunch. Everyone's on lunch. Here in the West Coast, 10 o'clock, there's not a lot of movement. And if there are, it's just it's really sporadic and all the other stuff. So for me, this is kind of like a trader beware zone right in here. I don't suggest you trade in between, but if you would like to, that's all good, especially if it fits your parameters, right? It's up to your discretion. So even if we took this buy signal, do we enter it? I'm going to say no, partly because it didn't close above the red pivot. But for practice purposes, right? For practice purposes, even if I were to take it, okay, because maybe someone in this group is like, you know what, Josh, I'm going to go ahead and make your strategy even better because I noticed that it closed above K2 level 2. It closed above K2 level 2, and maybe that is the indicator on a buy signal that's underneath pivots 3 and 4. I don't know. Let's go ahead and check it out, man. We're doing this live, right? We're creating strategies as we go. So, I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe when we got a position that's underneath, maybe we need to incorporate K2 level 2. For the default, I think it's yellow for you guys, but I put mine as this turquoise because that yellow was hurting my eyes. So that's why I changed it for me on level 2. But again, for the basic of the basis is we're going to use 3 and 4 for tonight, right? 3 and 4 for today. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to go through one more because I don't know if there's any questions or anything, but I don't want to take 2 hours kind of go over this. I definitely want to leave some room for some questions. If not, I'm not sure if anyone's answering them in the chats, but yeah, I definitely want to be respectful of people's time. So thank you in advance to everyone, right? Hopefully you guys are getting some good knowledge out of this and you guys view me as a good educator, right? So we're going through now. This is the time where, that no fly zone. Check this out. From 10 to 12, right? Look at these pivots right now. What do you guys see that they're doing? And Shawn talks about this all the time. What do you guys see these pivots doing? They're flattening out. You guys see that? They're flattening out. Flattening out right now. So for me, even if I have a next momentum signal, buy or sell, doesn't matter, right? Buy or sell does not matter. Well, hopefully we get one, right? Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, here. We get one. This is where we need to not trade blindly, people. Don't trade blindly. Look how flat this market is for the last hour and 45 minutes. Look at this. I don't want anyone coming to me, well, Josh, you know what? I took the sell signal because that's what your strategy says and I lost money. Well, the first thing that I'm going to ask you is like, okay, well, what time did you trade? Show me your chart. Because if you're trading for me, what I call the no fly zone, if you're trading between there, especially when you vividly see these pivots super flat. I mean, look at that red pivot, man. That price ain't going nowhere. It ain't going up. It ain't going down. Look at that. You guys see that. But if you're trading, I can only do so much. I can only help you out so much. Even if you were to take the sell momentum, right? Because I think we were experimenting on taking invalids, right? I mean, shoot, like it ends up probably hitting stop loss. I don't know. Looks like it. Yeah, it ends up hitting stop loss. But we don't take that trade in the first place because people are still at lunch in the East Coast. There's just not a lot of movement yet. Like, it's okay to wait. One thing I want to suggest to everyone too is, hey guys, it's okay for you to take your lunch too. It's okay to, who was I talking to earlier? Was it you, Rick? I think it was you, Rick. It was like, hey man, let's sit on our hands right now, right? Let's sit on our hands. It's okay to sit on your hands. Don't touch that mouse. Don't touch the mouse, right? Don't click nothing. It's all good. Like, preserve your capital. Preserving your capital means that you have money in your pocket versus losing your capital, meaning losing your money, right? So let's not do that. We don't want to do that. So, all right. I mean, for me, that's the no-fly zone, right? Now, I'm not suggesting, okay, well, Josh, you said after 12 o'clock, go ahead and enter trades. Well, I'm not suggesting that either, but for practice purposes, let's see what the market is giving us before close, right? So let's see what we got here. All right, here we go. We got a buy signal, and this is going to be the last one for the night. All right, guys, just because I want to be able to get Shawn back on here and maybe Kyle, and then we can just kind of like go through some stuff. So we got the buy, and for the sake of this, remember, default, we're going to disappear K2 pivots level 1 and 2. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Got the buy signal. It's above both pivots. All right, Josh, what do we do? I think I'm going to take this buy. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. You want to try it out? Let's go ahead. I'm going to be straight out honest with you guys. I don't have all the statistical data in the world. I don't. Right? I don't. But if you can help me collect all this stuff on timeframes and all this other stuff where we know when to trade, when not to trade, and all this other stuff, it's going to make the 3-minute strategy even better. I see people using it on gold. I see people using it on silver. They're using it on NASDAQ. They're using it on Bitcoin. Like, it's crazy. But right now we're talking about the US 30. So let's check this out. And this will be the last one for today. Okay. So let's see where this bad boy's going. Oh, shoot. Okay. Uh-oh. So now people are starting to panic, right? Like, oh my God. No. What is it? Okay. Ooh. 25 pips, baby. Got it. There we go, right? There we go. Well, I did exactly what Josh said. I waited till after the no-fly zone. I waited for that first signal. Cool. Hey, man, I'm happy it worked for you. Me, honestly, I'm going to be real. I may not have taken this. You want to know why? 1, because I have another job. 2, I'm at lunchtime at 12:30 my time. So I'm not, I'm going to sit on my hands. But for some of you guys, that might be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whatever. Hey, 25.50, there's your TP. There you go, right? So, you know, I see some stuff in the chat. I know people are kind of talking in there, but at this moment right now, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I'm going to let everyone go ahead and see my office background, right, from the office. And Shawn, feel free to kind of jump in with me. But, you know, at the end of the day, for this being kind of like a live session for the real basic of the basic for the 3-minute strategy, I hope this was really valuable for other people. You know, we could have went back. I could have went back and took the most perfect day and just showed you all win entries, which maybe next time I will, right? We had a few losses today, but we also had a few wins. And I guarantee you, if we would have went further down, we would have had more wins. That I can guarantee you. But for today's purposes, in all honesty, what are we looking for? How do we look for certain stuff? When it gets a certain time, you know, especially when the pivot's starting to flat out, that's the reason why you want to use the K2 indicators, guys. The K2 indicators isn't just there just so you can, you know, take a guess or whatever. These indicators, they're telling us something and they're showing us something. That's the most important piece. At least that's what I've learned. I've learned that whatever Shawn created, and I don't even know the backstory behind his indicators, and I'm never going to ask him. He created those bad boys. But for me, I know that it's telling me something. Now, I just got to be able to put the pieces together in order for me to get these good entries so I can get these 25 pips. Because sometimes it won't go over to 25 pips, guys. Sometimes it'll go to 20. But you got to be able to kind of like train your eye on some stuff. I wish I can tell you that it's going to hit 25 every single time. Because there are going to be times where it's going to hit 50. And it just does, man. Like, and those 50-point moves, those are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But one thing that I can, I can stand by this. This strategy, it works. It definitely works. And like I said, go back to about 2 weeks ago and you take all 9 calls from Shawn's 9 calls that he did for that week, 2-3 weeks ago, 9 out of the 11 were 3-minute strategy calls. They were not the dailies. 2 of them were, I think, 10-minute sniper strategy. And I think one of them hit a stop loss. But we feel here at K2, we feel real confident in the snipe strategy, but we also feel real confident in the 3-minute. I challenge everyone to really like help us really make it better than what it is right now. Because if we could do that, dang, man, like not only is this going to be fire, but it's really going to give people the confidence to, not only create their own strategies, but share it with other people and just make this a really beautiful community. Because, we have 35 people in this group right now. There's over 330 something people in premium. If you did the math on that, the people who are not on this call right now, who are not really actively participating, maybe they're sleeping or whatever, but they're missing out on some real good knowledge, man. And for the sake of time, it's 7:07 my time. Shawn, I'll hand it over to you. Everyone, thank you in advance, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed like my style of teaching, the way I educate people. And I just want to remind everyone, hey, I'm a beginner trader as well. I'm not an expert, but I'm willing to be perfected. Like I want to get better. I want to be where I can trade like Shawn and Kyle and some of these other guys, man, and CT and Magneto and Tamara, man. Like, dude, those guys are killing. And C-Suit, those guys kill it every day, man. So, I just appreciate everyone's time. Thank you. Thank you in advance.
Definitely. Thanks, Josh, for having this session. That was great. You touched on a lot of key points. Trade psychology is probably one of the main things for a lot of people. I'm glad you covered that. Other than that, I think you covered a lot of good examples with your strategy. And, going back to what you were saying before, there's never going to be 100% strategy, guys. Like there's going to be wins, there's going to be losses. If you guys sat in on the session this morning, we had like 2 or 3 back-to-back wins, and then we had two back-to-back losses, right? And, you know, looking back at the daily entry right here, like I mentioned, you know, it played out exactly like I was telling you guys, right? Once it hit 10 o'clock, it started swinging up. This is the trade psychology talking right here. Like a lot of people freaked out, closed out of the position. I held on to it. You know, I didn't care about it even hitting stop loss if it did, but it ended up bouncing off here at 10 o'clock, exactly where I thought it would. I'm currently out of the position now. I don't want to hold on to it. I don't like holding on to it too late. But yeah, no, definitely. Thanks to Josh for holding this session. You know, we're probably going to have more of these sessions more often where we're just going to have group mentoring. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any other questions for me or Josh or Kyle or CT, I mean, we have a lot of strategies that we're working on right now. And that's basically where most of my time is going. So Josh is going to try to help with a lot of these mentoring sessions. And thanks to Josh, because while Josh was talking, I took some scalps using the new strategy we're working on right now. And I locked in about 1,000 right now while Josh had his session going on. So thanks to you, Josh, for that strategy that, you know, we've been talking about. And this is probably something that I'll be teaching you guys at some point. You know, me and Josh will probably be teaching the strategy to you. This is something brand new that we're currently working on right now. I took 2 entries right here. I took this for a win, and then I took another one right here for a win as well. Where was it? Like somewhere around here. I took another one like right there. And that's pretty much how I took these trades over here while Josh was going over his session. So if you guys have any other questions that you guys have right now, you know, go ahead and put them in the chat or in the Zoom, anywhere really. And then I can go over them or Josh can answer them as well. But I think this is pretty much it for this session. You know, we've been on the session for a little over an hour. This is basically like Josh is breaking into becoming a K2 educator. You know, obviously Josh, he's been a member with K2 for like, like a year now, over a year now. And Josh was just like you guys. He was just a student, you know, he wanted to learn and he started to catch on to patterns using the indicators that I created. So, you know, this could be a path for you guys as well. If you guys want to grow with K2, I want all you guys to grow with K2, whether you guys want to be an educator with K2 or if you guys want to, you know, just be one of our traders once we move to our, you know, prop firm stage. Obviously, you know, the prop firm stage is not going to be for everyone. That's going to be mostly for the most elite traders within K2 because you guys are going to be trading my capital. So, you know, obviously I want, you know, you guys to really master these strategies here and be able to, you know, work with the market conditions because the market conditions aren't always going to be great. Just like, you know, Josh covered today. Today wasn't like the best. It wasn't the best day to trade, obviously, you know, but we were able to mitigate our losses. We had two or three wins and then we had 2 losses back to back. But, you know, we came back from it. Like, obviously I had a couple losses today. I ended up locking all that profit right back with these scalps right here this evening. It's only been a couple minutes right here. And, you know, I locked in those profits right there. So that was pretty good. And this is something that I'll probably be teaching you guys eventually. I'm actually looking to enter this right here as well. Actually, this position here didn't even finish. If you're applying Josh's strategy, so, you know, if you guys want to go over Josh's strategy again here, my breakdown is a little different from Josh's. It's just that I break it down into more elements. So like Josh, he kind of combined the second one. I don't know if you guys liked it combined or if you guys liked it separate, but this would be the K2 US 33-minute scalp strategy. And the problem with this during Aegis session is that, like Josh mentioned, Aegis session moves a lot slower. So that's why we kind of go for a smaller move. So, you know, first confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. And then for me, obviously mine's gonna be a little different. Confirm signal, breaks, and closes. Sorry, let me fix that. Breaks and closes past K2SR, or no, K2 pivots 3 and 4. Or to be, confirm signal is above K2 pivots for a buy or below for a sell, obviously, right? And after that, you can enter on the open of the following candle. So yeah, pretty much right here. This trade actually didn't even finish because this is the cool thing about these strategies that we're applying. Sometimes they overlap, right? Sometimes you'll have an entry using this new strategy that me and Josh is working on right now. And then there's also an entry right here for the scalp. So if you're looking for a scalp here, during Aegis session, we try to go for a smaller move. So we probably go for maybe, instead of going for 25, maybe we'll go for like 15 or 20. We just haven't figured that out yet because like Josh said, we want you guys to actually practice and figure out, you know, what works and what doesn't work. That way we can, you know, that way we can work together and find out what the sweet spots are, especially for Asia session. Asia session moves a lot slower. So what me and Josh have been using, instead of using the normal 25, 50, we've been using more so something like 10 and 20, right? Because right here, obviously this might hit. It's probably going to hit eventually. Our daily entry is still pushing up right there. So it's pushing up right here. And that's what's cool about this. Like our daily entry lines up with the pivot entry, and it also lines up with the 10-minute entry right here too. So as you guys can see, we use these as confluences, right? So like, for example, here, we have a rejection off the pivot in structure down here. We also have a rejection off the pivot in structure somewhere over here as well. So if you tie these all up together, I mean, we have like multiple entries using the same, basically the same strategy here, right? We have the 10-minute entry here. We have our daily entry still running from this morning. And then we have the pivot entry right here. So if I was to see this right here, I might even want to hop into this because the confluence is so strong. We have the 10-minute entry. We have another 10-minute entry. We have the 3-minute pivot entry here. And then we also have another entry going on over here as well with this other strategy that we're working on over here as well, the order block strategy over here. So that's pretty much, you know, what we have to be looking for right here with regard to this buy entry, because there's so many entries indicating a buy. So if you were to enter this buy here, or if you guys are still in this daily entry, you know, I wouldn't be too worried about it. It's probably going to push up, but it's going to take some time for it to reach this profit target right here. So I'm going to check the chat real quick, see if there's any other questions here for us to cover. Otherwise, I'll be logging off because I do have a mentoring session coming up at 8. So I have to, I'm going to have to hop off this shortly. So if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me, or if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat right now before I log off. But I do have a mentoring session, a private one coming up at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to have to get off this soon. Let me see this real quick.
Yeah, and everyone, you know, I unfortunately have to log off right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and exit. But again, like, just want to thank everyone in the room just for giving me an opportunity just to kind of like go over some stuff. A lot like Shawn, if anyone has any questions, particularly for like the 3-minute, like, feel free to reach out to me. Like, I think everyone here knows that I'm pretty responsive. I try my best to answer as many questions as I can, right? So feel free to reach out to me, whether it's in the mentoring group or direct message me. It's all good. But I do got to get off, Shawn. So I appreciate you guys. And, you know, I'll see you guys a little later on tonight. So y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Definitely, Josh. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. We'll look over some more entries. But yeah, guys, so I think that's it for today's session. Thanks for showing up, guys. We're going to try to do this again more often. Once I'm done with my private sessions, I'm going to be having these group sessions, probably me and Josh, probably Kyle as well. Me and Kyle have been going over this. Well, we went over today this 1-minute strategy. Well, not really 1-minute strategy, but it's the breakout from market open. And man, it's been crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys saw their profits from this morning. Like Kyle, let's see, it was Kyle, Josh, and Billy. So Billy over here locking about 500 something. Who else? Let's see. You guys can see all the profits here from today. Like, a lot of people did pretty good, even though this morning was kind of rocky. But let me just scroll up real quick. Okay, so Josh, this is the New York session breakout. He caught the breakout right here. He locked in like about 4,460. This is kind of similar to what Cheryl has been locking in. So you guys have seen Cheryl's profits as well, right? You guys saw her profits over here as well. Let me see what she locked in today. Yeah, she locked in 7,000 today, right? This is a new breakout strategy that we're currently working on. You know, it's obviously going to take some time. Kyle kind of set the ball rolling for this. He introduced it to Josh. They back tested it. It has crazy results. So then they sent it over to me. We had a session right before this. We went over that, and it's crazy. Like, I think they had like a 90% win rate. It's insane, like how often it hits. And the thing with this is that it only happens within the first few minutes. So like literally you catch it right away. Kyle here too. See, it was Kyle locked in 3,616. And Josh locked in 4,460. And then obviously you saw, Cheryl's profits down here as well, where she locked in 7,000 using this New York session breakout. Cheryl actually does the same strategy during London. So she does both. But I know she mentioned earlier that she needs to get her sleep on point. So I think she's going to start doing just New York with us in the morning. So that's something that I'm going to be working on with everybody. And once we have that all together, we have all the requirements down, I'll be introducing it to you guys as well. If you guys watched my session this morning, go back and rewatch the session this morning if you guys want to have a little taste of that strategy, because I did cover it this morning on Market Open and it played out perfectly. So if you guys want to go look at that, feel free. But I'm gonna have to log off this session right now because I do have a mentoring session coming up shortly. I'm gonna have to prepare for that. And if you guys have any questions or any tips or anything that you guys want to talk about regarding any of the strategies, feel free to reach out to me, Josh. If it's Josh's strategy, it's probably best to reach out to him because he created that pivot strategy. But anything else, you guys can just reach out in the mentoring group. That's probably going to be the best area for you guys to get your questions in. If you guys aren't in the mentoring group and you guys have access to the K2 indicators, just message one of us. This is the K2 mentorship chat. It's basically where everyone's going to be covering everything here, right? We're going to be helping each other become the best traders possible. So with that said, guys, have a great night. Thanks for showing up. And I'll be back here tomorrow morning for the normal trading session. But other than that, I will catch you guys in